that's the thing. So they're making their big final push. He's been going on all of this podcast stuff. He's done a couple things on Fox and whatnot, but it's blown up in his face. And we're going to look at a few of those. So here's the first one. He was on Maria Bartiromo on a Sunday show. Maria Bartiromo is a total right-wing Trumper nutbag. And she tries to help him out here, but it doesn't really go great. We're just going to watch a bit of this because it leads into a bigger point.
Nationals in this country in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
You have people on the terrorist watch list, 350 in the last couple of years. You got, like you said, 13,000 murderers and 15,000 rapists.
Right.
What are you expecting? Joe Biden said he doesn't think it's going to be a peaceful election day.
Well, he doesn't.
Okay, I want to put it. So she's saying there's all these immigrants. And 350 are on the terrorist watch list, and and they're committing all these crimes, and and he's let them in, and the election's going to be dangerous, and he doesn't think there's going to be peaceful. He thinks there's going to be rioting or fighting or whatnot, right, on the election day. So she's teeing him up for that. That Biden's created this horrible scenario where it's just a lot of immigrant criminals and people rioting in the streets and shit. She's trying to set him up. Once again, he's being set up, and he always does the wrong thing. He's going to take the right turn. As we've always joked, he always picks the wrong answer. If you ask him his favorite color, his answer would be Hitler. That's how fucking wrong he is. I mean, always picks the worst answer. But watch this.
Rapists.
Right.
What are you expecting? Joe Biden said he doesn't think it's going to be a peaceful election day.
Well, he doesn't have any idea what's happening in all fairness. He spends most of his day sleeping. I think the bigger problem is the enemy from within, not even the people that have come in and destroying our country. By the way, totally destroying our country. The towns, the villages, they're being inundated. But I don't think they're the problem in terms of election day. I think the bigger problem are the people from within. We have some very bad people. We have some sick people, radical left lunatics. And I think they're and it should be very easily handled by, if necessary, by National Guard, or if really necessary, by the military, because they can't let that happen.
Let's
Okay.
So we're going to skip their comment here, but he's saying the problem is, and he goes on and like names some people, and he names Pelosi and Schiff. He's talking about the Democrats. He's talking about leftists, people that don't vote for him. He's talking about literally using the military on the citizenry for people he doesn't like. That's literally what he's talking about doing. That's Fox News. That's her teeing him up to kick the shit out of Biden and Harris. And what does he do? He says, you know what, I'm going to sick the military on the American people.
And, okay, not only does he say something that sounds a little wild, but he also, let's go to he misses his opportunity. Of course, he starts spouting craziness, but like, because we've learned to expect that, but he doesn't take the soft one that's being just lobbed to him, you know?
Right. She gives him an easy one. I mean, it's the same thing with the PBD thing. Just hands him. Here, tease him up. And he goes somewhere else entirely. He's cognitively, he's not there. Because he's just blurting out what he's thinking.
Right.
I mean, I had a grandfather that went through Parkinson's, and that's what would happen. He'd just say random shit. Sometimes he'd say stuff that was just horrific, and you wouldn't believe it. But it's just what's coming off. There's no filter anymore. It's whatever's coming off the top of his head.
So whatever pops into his brain, he would just start saying.
Yeah, but it really gives you the sense of what this person thinks and believes, too, right? Because he'd say a lot of racist shit. It's like, well, that was probably pretty accurate to what he thinks and believes. But before, he'd have a filter and know not to say it. And he'd stop himself. I mean, think about how horrible it'd be if you couldn't control what you said, and it just whatever popped in your mind you said. I mean, everybody think about that.
I don't know that I would want that happening.
No,
I think most people would not want that happening.
That's why dementia is such a scary thing for people. But I think that's what happened. But I mean, literally went to total fascism. She tried to tee him up on immigration, went to total fascism. So he's been really sucking it up. We're going to skip this one clip. We're going to go to this next one, though. This one is a good one. So while we're doing that, he gets this chance, so he goes to Univision to do a town hall, which, once again, Univision is Hispanic news, right? It's a Spanish news, or Spanish television, right? So he goes under there to do the town hall. You can tell he's just irritated being surrounded by this many brown people. Really, I can tell he's racist. This really bugs him. Just like he was kind of dismissive of Patrick Bet-David, right? Didn't really want to talk to him. It's the same kind of thing here. But this is a great scene, and you might have seen this before, but this guy asked Trump, he's a Republican, he asks him, I'm not happy with you, basically. Convince me to win back your vote. And Univision does something that's so great here. They pan through the reaction shots from the audience. I've never seen them do this at a town hall before, and they should fucking do it all the time now because it's the best thing ever. So we're going to watch this clip. It's just great.
Health Immigration. Ramiro Gonzalez has a question for Donald Trump.
As you know, Florida got hit with 2 major hurricanes in the last 2 weeks. Por favor, Ramiro.
Buenas noches, señor Trump. Good evening, Mr. Trump. Okay. I am a Republican, no longer registered, though. I want to give you the opportunity to try to win back my vote. Okay. Your, I'd say, action and maybe inaction during your presidency and the last few years sort of, was a little disturbing to me. What happened during January 6th and the fact that, you waited so long to take action while your supporters were attacking the Capitol. Coronavirus, I thought the public was misled during coronavirus, and that many more lives could have been saved if we would have been informed better. And also people in your administration who don't support you. I'm curious how people so close to you and your administration no longer want to support you, so why would I want to support you?
I don't understand this. He's swaying back and forth and nodding like yeah, that's true. Yeah, I didn't act on January 6th, yeah. Didn't do anything about coronavirus, yeah. He's swaying back and forth. Yeah, no, everybody in my cabinet hated me. Yeah. I don't think he's even listening to the guy. I think he's just fucking spaced out. Maybe that's
blah, blah, blah.
blah,
Right.
blah, blah. Whiny immigrant.
Yeah.
The guy's not an immigrant. He was born in Jersey. But go ahead. I'm playing more. It's just...
If you would answer these questions for me, I would really appreciate it and give you the opportunity. There's, your own vice president doesn't want to support you now.
Thank you, Ramiro.
So the people that don't support a very small portion, we have a tremendous, about 97% of the people in the administration support me. But because it's me, somebody doesn't support, they get a little publicity. The vice president, I disagree with him on what he did. I totally disagreed with him on what he did. Very importantly, you had hundreds of thousands of people come to Washington. They didn't come because of me. They came because of the election. They thought the election was a rigged election, and that's why they came.
This is horseshit. It wasn't hundreds of thousands. It was tens of thousands. On top of that fact, out of the whatever it was, 80-something people in his direct staff, 87-something people, like all but 2 of them are endorsing Kamala or not endorsing him at all. So this is all horseshit.
Some of those people went down to the Capitol. I said peacefully and patriotically, nothing done wrong at all, nothing done wrong. And action was taken, strong action. Ashley Babbitt was killed. Nobody was killed. There were no guns down there. We didn't have guns. The others had guns. But
I gotta watch it one more time with that woman. It's the best
thought
reaction
the election
ever.
was a rigged election, and that's why they came. Some of those people went down to the Capitol. I said peacefully and patriotically, nothing done wrong at all, nothing done wrong. And action was taken, strong action. Ashley Babbitt was killed. Nobody was killed. There were no guns down there. We didn't have guns. The others had guns.
He said Ashley Babbitt was killed on January 6th. Then he said nobody was killed. And she went, what the fuck?
Well, and quite frankly, so this was interesting, and I really was curious about how he was going to handle it, because the way the man framed the question, well, it was less of a question, but more an opportunity to speak to certain points.
Right.
And what it was he wanted him to speak to is, I feel that you mishandled it. Mm-hmm. These various things. It's sort of like if you were to find out either your spouse or a very close family member has been lying to you about some major thing, like the money thing, or somebody was cheating on you or whatever, and then you're like, I really am literally, you've lost me here, but I'm going to give you the opportunity to tell me, how can I ever trust you again?
Right.
Now, if the person starts in about how, it didn't really steal the money, or like, it wasn't really cheating because
deny.
And then proceed about how they handled it right. If it's, how can I trust you again? And they're like, well, you see, I didn't really steal the money. The way I ended up with the money was the right way.
Yeah.
I didn't really, it's not really cheating, and it wasn't like really bad, because all it was just like a little bit of something, That's not really what this person is giving you the opportunity to do. I know it's hard for any politician to like get in there and say I was wrong, and maybe I was wrong is not even the words that need to happen.
No.
But like, how can I trust you again is essentially the question, and that's not really being addressed here. And it's a tricky thing, because a politician really doesn't want to go in and be like, well,
I totally
clearly effed that up, But I was like, is he going to be able to get to this is why you can trust me way? Because a really good plan of attack, in my opinion, would have been you can have confidence in me because of this and this and this. And this is why you can have more confidence in me than my opponent. Like, that feels like it would have been at least a sideways, without saying I effed up, way of attacking that, which he's not doing.
Well, and you don't even have to say I screwed up. What you could say, I mean, and this would be a lie too, but he could just say, look, at the time of January 6th, it was not the intention for them to go break into the Capitol. And we thought by giving that speech or whatnot, we could do that. Now, I did believe that had been cheated, and I believe Pence should do blah, blah, blah. He could say it just in the context of, at the time, this is what we believed.
Right.
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 And he doesn't have to justify that he still believes it, doesn't believe it. He could just leave it there. But instead, he has to go into this, like you said, all this excuse and bullshit, which shows he has no remorse, no interest. He's not going to do anything different. And they asked that guy later, because that guy was also at the Univision town hall where Kamala Harris was at, and he grilled her on a policy question. He didn't, like, tee her up like he just did Trump. And she answered him directly, and they asked him afterwards, if you made up your mind. He's like, yeah, I'm voting for Harris. He didn't answer me, he just tried to bullshit me. And he tried to bullshit the crowd. That's why that woman is going, what? Because he just tried to bullshit them, and they were like, fuck no.
So what I wonder is the composition of this audience. Is the composition of this audience all people that are on the fence? Or are they...
I'm sure it's a mixture. But it's mostly, it's Hispanic working class people in the United States. Hispanic and Latin American working class people. So... yeah, no, they have real concerns, and he's been touting a lot of shit on immigration. He got asked about immigration, and he kind of did his normal spiel, where he kind of demonized them, and these people were kind of like, what the fuck? So,
right.
It was bad. It was really bad. So that was his normal push.